to Grenada and the rest of the world. It's a bright, breezy morning here on the Spice Isle, the 26th day of November, which means that time's counting down to the next big holiday. Hey, thanks a lot for joining us for today's edition of Gudday Grenada. I'm George Grant. Certainly hope you had a great weekend and start this new week on not a very encouraging note. As you have probably come to realize, the end of the matter between the government of Grenada and the trades unions, nowhere in sight. Absolutely nowhere in sight. On Friday afternoon, the president of the Public Workers Union, Rachel Roberts, issued a rather ominous statement following talks which were held on Friday morning, I think it was, with the government of Grenada. I want you to give a listen to that statement, and you'll understand why I said even though it's nice and bright outside, there's a cloud hanging over Grenada. Check this out.
Today is indeed a sad and disappointing day for us. Again, we went to the table in good faith and have been disappointed and tricked by our employer. On the call made by the Bishop of Grenada, all the unions decided to go to the table in good faith by honoring the bishop's call. And public officers, I must call on you and let you know that our employer has not honored our 25% gratuity. And therefore, I call on all of you to recognize that we shall not be moved. We shall stand firm and we shall not go home in poverty. And therefore, I call on all of you to be at home on Monday and Tuesday. Industrial action continues. The struggle continues. Hold the fort because we shall not be moved. I ask you to be firm, to stand firm. Stand behind your union. Know that your union is standing with you and we shall support you in thick or thin. Let it be known that the Public Workers Union shall stand firm for 25% gratuity because that is just and it is the honorable thing. There shall be a mass demonstration on Wednesday if our government does not recognize that they must be just and they must pay us what is due to us.
So there you have it. That's Rachel Roberts, who, by the way, was on the program yesterday. Now, just before I move on, let me apologize once again for yesterday. It's not my fault, but as you know, we had a heck of a lot of issues. However, I am happy to report that those of you who were terribly annoyed at what happened yesterday and never got to watch the whole program, all's not lost. Because, one, you can go to our Facebook page if you're not there right now, and you will see part of the program. Believe it or not, only about 22 and a half minutes of that program went up to Facebook yesterday. But the whole thing was recorded. And if you are on the GRENADABROADCAST.com website right now, later on today, when you have some time on your hands, please go to the archive section, which is, once you get to the home page, just scroll down a little bit, you'll see a bunch of archives there. And in there, you'll find Sundays with George Grant, and the entire program from yesterday is there. So you can go take a look at that. That's in the YouTube section, of the archives. Again, we're terribly sorry about that. Already this morning, I'm seeing some buffering out there. My hands are tied. but this too shall pass. Now, after we listen to Friday's edition of the National Report from the Government Information Service, you will hear another statement. This one, actually, it's not after the National Report. We're going to run that by you after Beverley Sinclair. Bev is with us this morning, and we're all pumped up about that. She's coming in for her usual Monday morning tete-a-tete. She's going to do this by Zoom, so she's not going to be sitting here. I need some company, Bev. Well, anyhow, no, she's not going to be in here, but she's going to be talking with us this morning. So anyhow, this report that you're going to hear after you hear from Bev this morning is from the leader of the Unions and Staff Associations. He's also the president of the Grenada Trades Union Council. And I am referring to Senator Andre Lewis. That was another heavy statement which was issued on Friday night. And again, that will help you to understand why I am not too optimistic. I hope I'm wrong, but it seems like we have a very, very tough week ahead of us. Now, I'm just trying to update you on everything that's been going on over the weekend. Yesterday afternoon, I received a statement from Trade Minister Oliver Joseph. And now you're about to hear the latest coming from the government side in this impasse.
The following is a statement by Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honorable Oliver Joseph, updating the nation on the government's position on pension.
Fellow Grenadians, I wish to provide you with an update on the current industrial impasse between the Government of Grenada and the public sector trade unions. As you are aware, this government has announced its intention to restore and reform pensions for workers between the 22nd of February 1985 and the 31st of December 2018. This process has led to the restoration of pension to all workers that were entitled to receive a pension that joined the service between April 1984 and 22nd of February 1985. In the second phase, pension reform. Pension reform will address all workers between the 22nd of February 1985 and the 31st of December 2018. In the Memorandum of Understanding between government and the public sector unions and staff association, agreement was reached for a 70% pension after retirement. The outstanding issue has to do with the advance payment of pension, which is referred to as gratuity. This gratuity is an advance payment that must be repaid in 12 and a half years or 150 months. Therefore, it could be considered as a loan, since you must repay it. The unions are insisting on 25% gratuity. They have no issue with the pension. The government did write to the unions, inviting them to come back to the table. On Friday, the 23rd at 10 a.m., the Unions and Staff Association met with the Pension Engagement Committee to discuss the way forward. The union made it abundantly clear that a resolution to this matter hinged on the settlement of the 25% as gratuity and the non-deduction of wages from the workers withdrawing their labor. I indicated, as a cabinet minister attending the meeting, that I will take the demand back to Cabinet on Monday and that they will get a written response after Cabinet meeting. I left the meeting with a clear understanding that no action will be taken until the Cabinet meeting on Monday. I was shocked and disappointed to learn that the president of the Grenada Union of Teachers wrote to its members informing that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday strike action will continue, and that on Wednesday a mass meeting and protest will be held. Despite the good faith of the government, and despite all efforts to get the union to sit at the bargaining table, it seemed that all our best effort has failed. Therefore, as a responsible government, we need to inform the nation that we are willing to sit and look at a resolution to this matter. Our children's future is at stake. The stability of the country is at stake. We have a responsibility to ensure that all sectors of this country are taken care of. We stand to lose millions of dollars if we breach the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And therefore, we ask that good sense prevail and that the union reconsider the action and come back to the bargaining table. In fact, a meeting is scheduled for Thursday of next week where fact-based negotiation will commence, where the union will have an opportunity to present its fact to justify the 25% request, and the government side will respond. I am hopeful that the meeting on Thursday can still take place so that we can get a resolution to this matter. I thank you.
The preceding was a statement by Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honourable Oliver Joseph, updating the nation on the government's position on pension.
Okay, so there you have it. That's Minister Oliver Joseph. Now, he mentioned there's a meeting scheduled for next week. Remember, this came in yesterday afternoon, so I'm assuming that he was referring actually to this week. I don't think they're going to wait until next week to get this issue resolved, okay? I think it's going to be Thursday of this week that government has a meeting scheduled with the unions. Folks, I'm going to take a little break here now, and when we come back, we'll hear the national report, which came in on Friday night, and I'm sure you're going to be hearing even more about this impasse.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Spread some cheer and show you care with GrenLec's Give-A-Wish promotion. Do you know someone who has had a challenging year and deserves some good fortune, or a worthy cause that needs extra support? Grant them a wish this holiday season with GrenLec. Just pay your bill in full, then write their name, address, and phone number on the top portion of your bill. Add your phone number and drop it into the wish box at any of our GrenLec customer centers, or you can enter online via our Facebook page. 15 customers will receive a $500 electricity voucher for giving a wish to someone who deserves it, and 15 winners will each have their wish granted, valued at up to $1,500. What's more, 230 lucky customers will win $75 electricity vouchers. Spread the cheer this year with GrenLec's Give-A-Wish promotion. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion ends December 21st.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical and general hardware supplies At competitive prices, we continually consult with builders, homeowners, and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance, and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Okay, folks, just before I fire up the GIS's national report, let me say good morning to some of the folks out there on Facebook. I see that, first of all, T.F. Richards is saying good morning, comrades. Well, good morning to you, comrade. Veronica Sandy is saying good morning, Mr. Grant. Hope you enjoy your Monday. Girl, you know, I would love to, but when you take a look at what's happening, take a look at the couple of comments we have coming up in just a wee bit. Carlos Flanders says, I support the workers 100%. Fitzroy Adams says, good morning, George. The internet is really, really bad this morning. Yeah? What can I tell you, Fitzroy? What can I tell you? How many months have you folks sat and seen me sit right here in this chair and complain? Last week, I had another provider put a system in here. Well, not only have we been having the problems that you're experiencing right now, but yesterday afternoon, the internet completely disappeared from, I think it must have been about 3:15 yesterday afternoon. Completely vanished. Huh? Didn't come back until last night. Margaret Francis says, major buffering, Mags. You know, girl. You know. Enough said. And John Kennison is chiming in from Carriacou. Number 7 checking in. Okay, John, good to have you as always. Let's get to the national report.
Prime Minister assures Grenada will remain peaceful and stable even in the face of calls for further industrial action. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the national report for Friday, November 23rd, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, has assured that even in the face of continued industrial impasse with unions over pension, Grenada will remain peaceful and stable. Dr. Mitchell, who was scheduled to leave Grenada this weekend for a meeting in Washington to present a case for more aid for the region on climate resilience, says government fully understands the value of the teaching profession and is concerned that people in supposedly responsible positions can use those positions so irresponsibly. He was responding to reports of calls for further industrial action next week by the Grenada Union of Teachers, even after being told by the government negotiating team that it must report back to Monday's cabinet meeting, following a meeting of all sides at the Pension Secretariat on Friday morning. The meeting was called after government issued another invitation for fresh negotiations. Dr. Mitchell said the situation as it is affecting the governance of the country in serious ways.
This is quite a strange situation. I don't think we have ever found ourselves in this kind of situation that we now face ourselves. Mr. Speaker, the question we have to ask ourselves, where do we go from here? The Cabinet will meet on Monday. We cannot assume that this is a joke. We have to take it seriously. And we have a responsibility as the people elected by the people to govern the country, to protect this country. This is our fundamental responsibility. And the public must be aware of what we are dealing with. Because the lives of every child is being affected. And what is more significant is that when faced with why would you use children, instead of you go bring them in the classroom to teach them, you tell them, let's go and demonstrate for your 25%. When you should be educating the children of the country.
The finance minister pointed out that there is no legal right for the arguments being made, and if they had one, they would go to court, but are instead resorting to brute force since they have no legal basis. He also made reference to a letter written to the cabinet secretary by a public servant, which he says has no place in the process.
If this government proceeds to pay workers when they did not work, this government is finished. Literally finished. In effect, this gentleman is saying to us, resign. In effect, Mr. Speaker, this is a serious letter. It's a government just elected by the people of the country. Enormous support, and we don't behave in that way. But this is a letter threatening the entire country. By whom, Mr. Speaker? Who's threatening the country? Mr. Speaker, in other words, this is not a negotiation. This is pure blackmail.
Dr. Mitchell says due process is not being followed by the unions while the government is trying to negotiate in good faith.
You are in negotiation. There is a process for negotiation. It is not a legal right, but it's a moral thing we're trying to do. We're negotiating. You walk out on the negotiating team. You did not go to the labor commissioner as is required. You have the minister of labor. You didn't talk to him. You have the prime minister there, not a word. I heard it on the radio like everybody else. No school. The big bad John, the bully. No school. No one goes to school tomorrow. That is what we are seeing. And we are supposed to lie down and play dead for this. I will not govern our country, Mr. Speaker. Let me make it clear. I hope all of them listen. I will not be the Prime Minister to supervise over this nonsense, Mr. Speaker. This country will remain peaceful and stable.
Meanwhile, Government Minister, the Honourable Oliver Joseph, says unions involved in the pension impasse are not giving Cabinet a chance to meet on Monday to discuss their demands following a meeting between all parties at the Pension Secretariat on Friday. Their main points of contention are the 25% advanced payment of pension and the issue of payment for those workers who withdrew their labour. Mr. Joseph, who attended the meeting, says instead the unions have decided to call further industrial action before awaiting a response.
I said to them, all right, as a member of Cabinet, I will take back their demand to the Cabinet on Monday, because Parliament is in session and Cabinet meets on Monday. So I will take it to the Cabinet on Monday and then give them a response. They said, well, we want a response in writing. I say, yes, you will get a response in writing after Cabinet meeting on Monday. And so we left. After the meeting, the unions then went to have their own meeting and then decide to send out a memorandum to all teachers from GUT advising them to stay home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because the demands were not met. Well, if you come to the table and you're very inflexible, but where is the room? You come with your demand of 25% and no deduction or else. You would think that the union will wait on Monday's Cabinet meeting to get a response before they take any further action. But they are not even giving Cabinet a chance to meet on Monday on the matter. They don't know what Cabinet will come back with when I report to Cabinet. Instead, they send out and say tonight, Andrew Lewis, the President General of TAU, a leader of the team, will address the nation. So that's why I'm giving you the facts now. It's important to get the facts. He will address the nation on this issue, pension reform. So where we are now is that the unions have announced, at least the Grenada Union of Teachers, announced that they will continue with their industrial action. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the strike action, and on Wednesday all teachers will assemble together for a march, a next march, and protest, because the government does not want to pay them the 25% gratuity. The advance payment of the gratuity is a loan, look at to pay it back, you know. That is what the 12.5 means in the formula, you know. That you will get a reduced pension, and at over 12.5 or 150 months, you will pay it back. If you work out, that is what it means. So if the employer say, well, we do not have the money to give you the loan or to give you the advance, you're going on strike action, instead of negotiating over what period, some other formula or some ways of settling it. So you have not been denied of pension, and they are not saying that the pension matter has been settled, but they want the advance payment or the loan that government must give to be 25%. And the government is saying, well, we just cannot afford it.
Minister Joseph reiterated that they must operate within the rules of the Fiscal Responsibility Law. With the talks between the government's Pension Engagement Committee, PEC, and the public sector trade unions and staff associations that resumed on Friday at the Pension Secretariat was in response to the calls made by government, civil society, and the church for the current dispute to be resolved in an amicable manner. Chairman of the PEC, Mrs. Beryl Isaac, was joined by Minister Oliver Joseph, and they both welcomed back the unions. At the meeting, documents of letters were exchanged by both sides, and the chairman of the PEC, having expressed the view that this was a positive development, that the parties should continue formal discussions in a more in-depth manner to negotiate a settlement to the dispute. The leader of the Trade Unions and Staff Associations team, Senator Andrew Lewis, stated that the 2 points they considered to be of utmost importance, being the 25% advance payment of pension and the issue of payment for those workers who withdrew their labor. The unions also requested an almost immediate response. However, Minister Joseph indicated to the unions and the Staff Associations team that the Cabinet was totally involved in the 2019 budget, which is being debated now, and that he's expected to report back on Monday's Cabinet meeting. He therefore could not give a commitment to respond by the 4 p.m. deadline that was given. Minister Joseph urged the unions to take the interest of the members and the nation into consideration, and he reiterated that it requires both sides to work towards a resolution of the problem. The PEC reaffirmed its withdrawal of the 2% advanced payment of pensions to allow for negotiations without any precondition. The committee emphasized that the negotiations between the parties must be fact-based and must be conducted within the confines of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. The meeting ended with an expectation by the PEC that negotiations would continue on Thursday, November 29th at 10 a.m. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The National Cultural Awards and Dinner, Saturday, November 24th.
Radisson Ballroom at 7 p.m. It's a red carpet event honoring our cultural icons.
An expression of appreciation for their contributions.
Join with us and celebrate their great works. Limited tickets available for $150 at the Grenada Cultural Foundation. Call us on 435-2839.
Dress formal and share in the experience. Feature speaker, the legendary Paul Keynes Douglas. The National Cultural Awards and Dinner, a Grenada Cultural Foundation initiative supported by the National Lotteries Authority and the Grenada Tourism Authority.
Continuing the news, the upscale Silver Sands Resort in the south of the island will officially welcome guests in December, a major boost for the tourism sector. Resort owner Najib Sawiri says his $125 million investment began with a love for the country. Silver Sands will span 2 newly constructed buildings off Grandlands Beach with 39 open-plan suites, 3 one-bedroom suites and a 2,000 square foot penthouse with 2 private terraces. 9 villas will be set into the neighboring landscapes, including 5 4,400 square foot beachfront villas with direct access onto the sand and 4 3-bedroom hillside villas with breathtaking views of the resort grounds and sea. 300 locals will be employed with the establishment from year end. During the ribbon-cutting ceremony on Thursday, Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell said Grenadians must be appreciative of the level of investment being made in Grenada, not only by Silver Sands, but other foreigners.
I cannot see any Grenadian, Caracunian or Peter Martinican, doing anything or saying anything against someone who has come here, put down some serious investment, promoting this country's image, and we didn't do anything to malign that individual. That means we do not like ourselves. I must say this, sisters and brothers. I must say it. Nagib could put this money any other part of the world. This cannot be a place of profiteering for him. Those who understand who he is. But he is here because he loves this place. He loves the people that he has met.
Mr. Sawiri dismissed claims that his intentions are to privatize Grandlands Beach. He said any attempts unknown to him to break the law will be severed immediately.
We are law-abiding people. We would never cross any law. So everything you see here has been approved lawfully. Anybody who has pointed out to us that there is anything which is wrong, we will tear it down the next day. We have no interest to violate anything. The second thing is people who claim we want to live with the local people of this island. Every time I walk on this beach, I say hello to everybody, and before I say hello, they say hello to me. This is why we're here. We love the people here. Anybody that tells you this is a private beach, just go tell them to go have a swim, you know. We're not having it. We didn't come here for any private beaches.
More than 500 jobs were created during the construction phase of the resort. And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Conveniently located in the Grandland Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grandlands will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, we'll give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you. Welcome home.
Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434. Tell everybody.
Alrighty, folks. Let me say good morning to two persons. First of all, Ahama Rayburn, who has just joined us on Facebook, and she's saying good morning to all and have a blessed day. We do wish you a blessed day as well, Ahama. And, of course, now take a look. There she is. Ms. Beverley Sinclair. Wow, look at that top. Looks like you have a hot date planned today, girl. Beverley, good morning. Hello, Beverley? No.
I am not hearing you, George.
You're not hearing me, Bev? And I wonder why you're not hearing me?
I am not hearing you at all.
Aha. Okay. Now, are you hearing me, Beverley?
Now I am hearing you. That's better.
How you doing, girl?
I am doing good. How are you?
I mean, I like your top this morning. Look like you have a hot date.
Thank you.
Oh, Bev, I imagine a lot of your weekend was sort of preoccupied taking a look at the developing scenario we have here in this country.
George, I cannot help but look at what is happening in Grenada. And it's interesting, you know, the last week right across the Caribbean, from the Bahamas right down to Grenada, it has just been a week of protest. In Bahamas, the people came out on the streets protesting against increasing fuel prices. They marched behind the parliamentarians right down to the House of Parliament, protesting against this increase. In Haiti, there was a massive protest. For people want to know what has happened to the Petrocaribe money. More than $300 million, I think, they say that passed through Haiti on the Petrocaribe, and nobody can give account of the money. Over in Dominica, members of the opposition were arrested, taken to court, and there was a big demonstration against that. One of our usual suspects, Mr. Henry Shillingford, he got arrested, had to spend a night in jail as part of that protest over there in Dominica. And here in Grenada, the teachers were on the streets, students were on the streets in separate marches, just protesting against what the government of the country is doing. And it is really sad that those who are elected to serve seem to believe that they are in a position where they are elected by the people, but they don't have to listen to the people.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how uncomfortable people get. It doesn't matter what the concerns are. It's like, take that, and we don't have to listen to you. And we saw it right across the Caribbean this week. 4 different countries, 4 different types of protests, and at the crux of the protest is the same thing. We want answers from the people we elected to serve.
Whatever happened to the old adage, elected by the people, for the people? That gone?
No. Well, that went out long time. Democracy, what we are touting as democracy is a joke.
Yeah, farce.
Yeah, it is a joke. And that is a system which needs to be fixed, or else there is going to be civil uprising and bloodshed and all the things that have happened in the past, which we think wouldn't happen again. It's going to happen because elected officials have become our new colonizers and are just refusing to listen to people and to address concerns of the people who have elected them to serve. And that is just a very, very sad situation to be in. And unfortunately, it leads towards violence. And here in Grenada, I know it's not something that people want to see, but sometimes that's the only way to get the attention of the authorities.
And you know, the sad thing, girl, is that there are the warning signs out there. Grenada has already shown that when her back is against a wall, she will react. but the warning signs are just being ignored.
So I am adding my voice to all those who have been calling on the government to tone it down. Over the last 3 days of the debate in the House of Parliament, we hear people being berated, people being mocked, people being talked about in derogatory fashion. You don't talk about people in the House of Parliament that way who are not there in the House to defend themselves and who cannot answer you within the same setting. That's just irresponsible. You know, go in the House, deal with the issues, but don't go in there attacking people who cannot respond to you because they are not members of the House. That is something which should not happen, and it is something that we have seen elected members do, not just here in Grenada, but right across the Caribbean again. They sit in Parliament and berate others who cannot respond to them because they are not members of the House. And it's a sign of immaturity. Our politicians need to grow up. They really need to grow up and stop behaving like petulant children when things are not going the way that they want it to.
You know, I haven't yet come up with a definition for it, but it seems to me that politics attracts a certain breed of person, a certain type of person. You agree?
I agree. And one of the things I always point out is that the politicians come from among us. They are the same ones, like within the administration now, they are the same ones who were teachers before, they were public servants before, they were right there alongside the rest of the people, and they decided that they want to become representatives of the people. And the moment they become elected, it's like something snaps.
But you know, you just pointed out that the politicians come from among the people. You're so correct about that. But Bev, there are also people who would be good at governance, but for some reason they avoid politics like the plague.
Yeah, because politics in its present construct will not attract certain people to become a part of the fray. Because I have heard people say that, look, if I have to go on some stage and go and wind up in front of people to get elected, it's not going to happen because they're not going to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
The present construct of how the politics work, it just does not attract people of a certain ilk who may have the intention to be a representative or would have no problem being a public representative of the people. But the way to get there, it's just not a way that they are inclined to travel. Because a lot of these people, and again, these are people that I have spoken to personally, they have no interest in becoming members of a political party.
Yeah.
But in the present construct, if you're not a member of a political party, and if you're not a member of a major political party, your chances of becoming a member of parliament are 0 to 0.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that. So people who are so inclined, who do not want to be part of a political party, they stay out of the fray. They just don't bother.
Right.
And we are denied good leadership in many instances because of the political construct, which people just do not want to get involved in if you are not so minded.
That's a very, very difficult situation to accept, but it's reality. Now, I played a piece earlier this morning by a union leader, and after you and I are through chatting, I'm going to play another piece, this time from Andre Lewis. And you've also heard a piece that I played from the Trade Minister, Oliver Joseph. Now, when you sit and listen to those pieces, what impression do you get of what we're likely to be facing here this week in Grenada?
Yeah, I mean, the Governor General's residence, York House, Fort George, if I remember correctly, St. George's was declared a heritage site. And these buildings are heritage buildings. So I was kind of shocked when I saw this thing. The National Museum, yeah, all of these buildings need to be repaired. But is the answer to put them out there for lease?
Yeah.
I am really, really flabbergasted by this. Why would the government be advertising these buildings, putting them out there, calling for expressions of interest in heritage buildings in the town of St. George?
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, first of all, Grenada seems to have lost a lot of its assets, you know, our patrimony. So why not the heritage buildings? I guess that's the sort of attitude that we've adopted.
But when I saw it, and I'm like, but I haven't heard any report on this. I haven't heard citizens saying anything about it. I haven't heard anything out of the Willie Redhead Foundation about this. It's like nobody cares. Nobody cares, George.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you and I have often said on Make We Chat and on other programs that the average Joe Blow in Grenada, you and me, we have to take a lot of responsibility, because apart from a few of us who have the intestinal gall to speak out, most people just sit back and accept things, you know. So those in authority, they feel they've got carte blanche to do whatever they want, and so it goes.
You know, because my first question is, are these buildings going to be restored to maintain the integrity of the heritage that they represent? Or whoever leases it, are they just going to be allowed to go there and do whatever they want with these buildings that have so much history in them? I mean, it touched a nerve in me when I saw this thing, and I just wonder if people have not seen it, if they're not aware of it, or if they really just don't care.
The latter. The latter, the latter. It's probably going to take something major to have us snap out of this daze that we're in.
Yeah, because when you look at York House, the old House of Parliament, you want to lease it. It's on the property where you have the court, where you have the registry. All of that entire structure is in shambles. That is not a little bit of money to repair. And certainly it will not be a little bit of money to maintain the heritage integrity of that building. Keep it, you know, to restore it, not to repair it, but to restore it to its original form so that it keeps that history. That is not a penny or two. And if you lease it to people who will be spending that kind of money, and we have seen in this country where the authorities don't have anything to say to people who are spending money, you know. One minister tell us in the house we must know who feed us, and we can't bite the hand that feed us. So when people strut in with that kind of money to spend, who is going to tell them that St. George's is a heritage site and this is a heritage building and you have to maintain the integrity of the building? Who's going to tell them that?
You know, the sad thing about this is that whether leasing or buying, by and large, I have some serious doubt as to whether or not Grenada and Grenadians have the capacity to take on these projects. Like, let's take the Parliament building up on Church Street, for example. And the bottom line is that some foreign investor will come along, gobble that up. And you know what? After that happens, you're going to hear the same brouhaha from the people. They're selling we patrimony. They're taking everything we have.
Yeah, but when they're supposed to stand up and say, this can't happen, it's dead silent.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Bev. So,
all right, George.
So as far as the strike action this week, it seems like things are going to escalate, eh?
Yes, the workers are adamant that they will not discontinue strike action or industrial action in its various forms. They will not discontinue industrial action until the matter of how this 25% gratuity is going to be paid. And I heard the Minister of Trade, the Honorable Oliver Joseph, describing the 25% gratuity as a loan that has to be repaid. And I'm like, no, it's not a loan. It's absolutely not a loan. So why are we putting all of these messages out there to confuse people? And I don't know who they are trying to confuse, because those involved in the process know better. He knows better. It's not a loan.
Okay, Beverly.
You know?
Let's pray.
Yes, so the unions have indicated, certainly they have not made any secret about it. The president of GTAWU, Andre Lewis, made an address. Rachel Roberts of the PWU, she also made an address, and they have thrown down the gauntlet. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, teachers and some public workers are going to be off the job. And on Wednesday, there is expected to be another massive march and rally in the town of St. George. You know, somebody has to take a leadership role in this dispute. And I believe that lies squarely at the feet of the employer, the government negotiating team, and more specifically, the Minister of Labor. They really need to take some kind of action that shows mature leadership to get this thing to settle down and to quiet down, instead of every time somebody opens their mouth, it's some sort of inflammatory words that are coming out to make the situation worse instead of better. Yeah. Minister Joseph said, well, he met with them and they were supposed to wait until a cabinet meeting today to hear what the cabinet says before they take any further action. Well, we don't know what happened in the meeting. Perhaps these meetings need to be held in open court, out in the public, so that we can all see and hear what's happening. We don't know what's happening. As he came out of the meeting saying that was what was supposed to happen, and the unions came out of the meeting. I understand they had another meeting after the meeting, and they decided that this is the action they are going to take. So clearly, again, they went into that meeting and the discussion did not go very well. It could not have gone well if the two parties came out on opposite sides of the coin. And that's why I keep saying they need a mediator. These two groups will not speak to each other in any calm and rational way. They need a mediator.
All right, Bev. All right. Let's see what happens later on this week. We're going to keep a close eye on it. Thanks a lot, my friend.
You are welcome, George. Have a great day. And to all your listeners and viewers everywhere, you have a great day as well.
You too. Beverley Sinclair is speaking to us from some other part of Grenada. She's in Grenada, but she's speaking to us from someplace else. She's not here in the studio with me. Now, she talked about that statement that was made by Rachel Roberts a little while ago, and you also heard Oliver Joseph, Minister Oliver Joseph, giving his side of the story. And you also heard the GIS giving government side of the story. Well, I have one more side of the story for you, and this comes from a gentleman by the name of Andre Lewis. He is the leader of the unions and staff associations and president of the Grenada Trades Union Council. Here goes. His statement was made on Friday.
National address on the current industrial impasse between the government of Grenada and the unions and staff associations. Citizens of Grenada, sisters and brothers, comrades all, good night. Tonight I address you in my capacity as the leader of the unions and staff associations, UNSA, regarding the matter of pension and gratuity for public sector workers. I am sure that you will have heard and continue to hear the ongoing discussions and pronouncements on the issue. Today, the government's Pension Engagement Committee and the unions and staff associations met at this table, which we hoped is the new table that Bishop Clive Harvey spoke about in his address yesterday, Thursday, November 22nd, 2018. The table that will allow for the gratuity of 25% to be paid as a lump sum or gratuity upfront. It will be important to give a brief background. The unions and staff associations have been fighting for the restoration of pension and gratuity for public officers who were denied this benefit following the Pension Disqualification Act, PDA, passed by the PRG in 1983 and validated by Parliament in February 1985. All attempts at resolving the matter with the various governments proved futile. In 2011, the unions and staff associations were able to get a brave worker, a courageous worker by the name of Sister Humlin Armstrong, to file a case against the government demanding that she be paid a state pension and that the Pension Disqualification Act was unconstitutional. The court ruled in Sister Armstrong's favor. Following that ruling in Sister Armstrong's favor, the government and union and staff associations continued the ongoing discussions for the restoration of pension for public officers. The discussions always centered around the pre-1983 formula for pension and gratuity, in other words, the 1958 formula. This pension and gratuity formula allows for a worker to receive the full pension paid monthly. In this way, the workers receive a larger monthly payment, or a gratuity, which is a lump sum payment, and to receive a reduced pension paid monthly. This monthly payment would be smaller than where the worker received a gratuity. After many rounds of arguments and counter-arguments, the government and the union and staff associations agreed to forego any legal approach and to take a negotiated approach to arriving at a settlement. This was influenced by the fact that no one knew for certain what the outcome of a court matter may be, and it can also be very time-consuming. Apart from the formula for pension which was agreed upon during the discussions, the parties agreed to continue discussions on some other matters. With the above in mind, the parties signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, on February 18, 2018 regarding pension for public officers. The government has argued that when they signed the MOU, there was no agreement that gratuity was 25%. This is furthest from the truth. Unions and staff associations always willing to meet. Sisters, brothers, comrades, Grenadians all, the unions accepted an invitation from the Grenada Conference of Churches and the Grenada Private Sector Organization and met with them on the afternoon of Sunday, November 18th, 2018. The representatives from the churches and private sector informed that they had held a meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell on Saturday, November 17th, 2018, at which he expressed government's desire to return to the table with the unions and staff associations. The churches and private sector representatives informed that Dr. Mitchell said the government has accepted that gratuity was 25%. However, they would like to be able to discuss with the unions and staff association possible permutations for its payment. The unions immediately accepted this. It was agreed that the government would put in writing that they agreed that gratuity was 25% and that the parties will meet to determine how it could be paid. Following the above meeting with the churches and private sector representatives, the unions met with the Minister for Labour, Honourable Peter David, and Labour Commissioner Cyrus Griffith on the evening of Monday, November 19th, 2018. At that meeting, which ended sometime after 8 p.m., the unions repeated what was told to us by the churches and private sector representatives and advised that this would bring about an end to the impasse and a return to the negotiating table once the government sends their acceptance in writing. It was important to get the Prime Minister's acceptance in writing to prevent any further misunderstanding at the negotiating table. The unions were promised a letter by the morning of Tuesday, November 20th, 2018. However, it was not until sometime close to 3 p.m. that a letter was received from the government. This letter did not reflect the commitment given by the Prime Minister to the churches and private sector representatives. Sisters, brothers, comrades, and citizens all, we could not go back to the table without getting the Prime Minister's commitment in writing. Given our experience after the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, we could no longer take the word of the government. We could no longer just rely on promises. The government knew all along, before the signing of the MOU, that we all agreed gratuity was 25%. Our experience is that once the general election was won, they then unilaterally changed the 25% gratuity to 2%. This is after they, by way of letter dated June 13, 2018, had proposed, among other things, that, and I quote, calculation of gratuity is that the formula should be adjusted to allow for the payment of a gratuity of 50% of what is due and the rest to be paid in the form of a monthly payment. End of quotation. In other words, the government was asking the unions and staff associations to accept 12.5% upfront and to discuss the payment of the other 12.5%. After the government tore up the Memorandum of Understanding or changed their minds on the 25% gratuity to 2%, the unions had to turn to industrial actions to fight for our dignity and fight for our bread and butter after retirement. Fight to ensure that government keep their agreement. The government then moved to an injunction application from the court to ban workers from striking. In other words, stop workers from rejoining their labor. Fellow Grenadians, sisters and brothers, comrades all, today, Friday, November 23, 2018, we attended a meeting with the government's Pension Engagement Committee. We went there very hopeful, looking to resolve the issue of 25% gratuity, which was agreed during the signing of the Memorandum of Agreement in February 2018, and in keeping with the promise made by the Prime Minister, Dr. Kit Mitchell, to the Conference of Churches and Private Sector Organizations. This meeting was also attended by the Minister for Trade, Honorable Oliver Joseph. At the meeting, the unions and staff associations repeated that our demands for the 25% gratuity with discussions as to how it could be paid. Honorable Joseph said that it was the first time he was hearing that the unions and staff associations were holding fast to 0.25 or 25% or quarter to be used as one of the elements in determining gratuity. This the unions and staff associations found to be very questionable. Everyone in Grenada knows that our demands are exactly 25% or 1/4 or 0.25. Honorable Joseph undertook to discuss the matter with Cabinet on Monday, November 26, 2018, and then to let us know the response. The unions informed that we are looking forward to receiving the information, but will continue with any planned action since we saw this as a further attempt to delay us. Call to heightened industrial actions. Fellow Grenadians, brothers and sisters, comrades all, given what has transpired today, the general public is hereby advised that the unions will continue their industrial actions on Monday and Tuesday of next week. On Wednesday, November 28, 2018, there will be a mass march and rally from the National Stadium to Tantin along the route that was used on Tuesday, November 20th, 2018. The Grenada Technical and Allied Workers Union will write and inform employers in some workplaces represented by the union that some non-critical members, I want to repeat, that some non-critical members will be called upon to join in the march as a show of solidarity. This is in keeping with the resolution passed at Tao's General Council on Thursday, November 22nd, 2018, where workers from Grenada Airports Authority, Grenada Electricity Services, Grenada Ports Authority, Grenada Breweries Limited, National Water and Sewage Authority, Vector Control, and Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, among other workplaces, called upon the union to provide the necessary solidarity and support to the public sector pension and gratuity struggle. And in this context, we shall join the march and rally on Wednesday. Our struggles carried out on the negotiating table or through social media, traditional media, the airwaves, or on the streets are all designed to secure the future of our working people. This is for the established and unestablished sector workers. This is for the future of our Imani workers. This is for the future of the so-called contract workers. This is for the future of our nation's children. In closing, I take this opportunity to salute the teachers of our nation for their dedication and commitment to our students. I salute the workers of the public service for their commitment to country. I must especially praise our doctors, nurses, orderlies, cooks and security officers at our health service. I salute our police officers and prison officers and will continue to be an advocate for better conditions for you. I also commend the students who marched on Thursday, November 22nd, 2018, calling for a resolution. We commit to continue working towards a settlement so that they can return to the classrooms. I thank Bishop Clive Harvey for adding his voice and calling us to be guided by truth as the parties work towards a settlement. To you, the members of the general public, thank you very much for your ongoing support and words of encouragement. The march and rally can be avoided if the government of Grenada honors the 25% gratuity that was agreed to in the Memorandum of Understanding. In closing, we repeat, understanding the different challenges that our country faces, we are open and flexible to finding different arrangements to the payment of the 25% gratuity.
Pilgrims, there you have it. Andre Lewis. Enough said. Enough said. On that note, I'm going to take another quick little break here. Don't go. Don't go. Take a little break. We'll come on back and wrap it up.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, we'll give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Spread some cheer and show you care with GRENADABROADCAST Give-A-Wish promotion. Do you know someone who has had a challenging year and deserves some good fortune, or a worthy cause that needs extra support? Grant them a wish this holiday season with GRENLEC. Just pay your bill in full, then write their name, address, and phone number on the top portion of your bill. Add your phone number and drop it into the wish box at any of our GRENLEC customer centers, or you can enter online via our Facebook page. 15 customers will receive a $500 electricity voucher for giving a wish to someone who deserves it, and 15 winners will each have their wish granted, valued at up to $1,500. What's more, 230 lucky customers will win $75 electricity vouchers. Spread the cheer this year with GRENLEC's Give-A-Wish promotion. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion ends December 21st.
Alrighty, folks, just about time to say goodbye on this Monday morning. Before I go, God gives every one of us unique gifts, including you. Today, I'd like you to take some time off from your busy schedule, search your heart, find out what is the gift that He has given to you. Then claim it and use it. Here is one which I have claimed. Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1. Just one verse. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners. Once again, Isaiah 61, verse 1. As soon as the internet allows, we will have this entire program up on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So please, you may go on back, take a look at it. On that note, Georgie Porgy is going to send you God's blessings and extend an invitation to join me again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We're going to keep on fighting. We're not going away. Tomorrow morning and every weekday morning at 9 o'clock for another edition of Gudday Grenada.